Number 29, Lakeside Park. My favorite place to be. Artistry by Rita. Notice how the first picture and the second picture are different. The second was taken outside. Anywho, thanks for joining me today. I'm using a 16 by 20 inch canvas. I've lightly misted it. And I am using cerulean blue for the sky. And the water is phthalo blue and Payne's gray. For my white, I can use Artist Loft white, Amsterdam white, and for this, I believe I'm using the gesso. And I'm just randomly putting a background of blue, but not a solid blue. And then I start sprinkling white throughout. And it's layer, 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 using different brushes. The sponge, I like to play. And so this kind of painting takes a lot longer than a fluid art piece in that, each layer takes quite a while. And I love that about that. So here I am. I have blue first, then I add white, then I add back blue, and then you have layers and layers and layers. And with all the different opacities of the white and blue, you have what looks like, impressionistic clouds, but still clouds. And here I am putting on the Payne's the Payne's gray as my lake, and I'm doing that in more of a solid. And now I'm adding in some of the darker blackish blue. I mix the colors all over, guys, and creating dark and light, because my sun is coming over and hitting that left side. So as you can see, that is lighter than the other side. So I already have a plan of where the light is going to be shining through and where my shadows are taking place and all of that. And here I am adding more. It's almost like a little mountain formation. And it doesn't look really great now, but most of this will be gone in actual fact and will be grass. But I always overpaint, layers, 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 because this is a lot of fun for me. And I don't think too much. I just keep going. And I have my music blaring on in the back. And having fun and enjoying this. Dark, light, different brushes, different movement. You can see I had the fan, one of my fan brushes. And there I just have sort of a flat brush. And back and forth, guys. And then sometimes I don't like what I put in. And I think I didn't like what I did here after all. And I ended up going over it later on. And that's okay. The sponge, the brush, the fan brush, the filbert brush. And the sponge again. Layer, layer, layers, guys. So, take a moment to say, this is my painting journey. It's a learning process for me. I hadn't painted in years. I think this is the part I'm talking about that I took out later on that I didn't like. It was just too much, probably a little too much. So I think I end up painting over it later on. But I really would appreciate if you'd, give me a comment. Tell me what you think of it, good or bad. if you have constructive criticism, go for it. If you just like it, awesome. Please click that notification button, and I try to do videos a few times a week. I'm lagging in the last week. I had a busy week with work and family obligations, so didn't get to paint much this week, the last week or so. Anywho, yeah. So I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I recently started a TikTok, all at Artistry by Rita. Artistry is with an I, ends in an I, like my name Rita, R-I-T-A. And here I am, I was trying to create that line of where the land is actually going to show up, because once again, I'm painting probably way more on the right-hand side than I need to. And here I am back in the clouds, creating some more definition with some blue, using a pretty, very, very little paint, almost a dry brush. But look at the effect. I mean, look outside. If you're near a window, look outside. There's no rhyme or reason to clouds. They're all over. Sometimes they're straight, sometimes they're round, sometimes, they're all over the place. And here now I'm going to create the ground: burnt sienna, grass green, khaki, Art Minds brown earth, white gesso, and artist flow black. And I'm just layering. And here I am saying that I mixed the colors, guys. Started with the earth brown, then I put the burnt sienna on top, and I went back and forth between the filbert brush and the fan brush, tapping as I go. But you know what? I wasn't a huge fan of the way this looked. Wonderful thing about painting, guys, you just paint over it. I was trying to create light and dark because as the light shines through, it created lighter areas and darker areas. Plus, this picture I had in my mind was of an early spring where there were no leaves, and then I decided, no, I want leaves. So I went to grass rather than earth, because that's quite a different look. And there you go. So I took the green, mixed two more colors, and I added one white to one and yellow, and now I have three greens for my grass. So it's kind of like the leaves. The leaves are the same way. You start with the dark in the back, and then you add your medium above the dark, and then you add your light above the medium color, and it creates that shading, that depth. And I'm liking this more than I did the other. And there's that pathway I created. We have a great Lakeside Park in our community, and I'm drawn to it all the time. It's my kind of happy place to go. And there I am. I'm putting, I think, the khaki on the walkway. And then I'm going to go back and lighten it. And see, I didn't take the paint off my brush, which I like, because some of the other paints come through and it creates depth. And I just go back and forth, guys. And here I am starting the trees. Now this is mostly with the Art Minds earth color. And if you can look closely, I penciled in my trees more or less as to where I want them to be. And what I didn't like, what I did, is at the bottom of the trees, I widened them too much. That wideness, that width should be much closer to the bottom where the roots sort of span out. So I am actually going to fix that. This is not the finished product. This is still a work in progress. And I will show the end of it. I plan to draw some my family members in it actually, and make some changes to it. But here I am painting the trees. You start from the bottom, think about depth. Thinner trees will appear to recede. Larger trees will appear to move forward. And that is a little dock leading to a lighthouse. And I love it there. It's a beautiful park by the water, surrounded by century homes, lots of character, lots of history. And I'm so lucky to have it in my town. I go there frequently. And I feel like I'm kind of transported when I'm there, and I can just breathe a little easier when I'm there. It is one of my happy places. And, you know, here I am. I try to use the tip of the brush, but somehow my hand always goes forward to the end. You are much looser when you use the tip of the handle rather than what I'm doing right there. But just go with it, guys. See that tree? It's angled. It's not perfectly straight. Find me a tree that's perfectly straight. You know, have fun with your branches. Have them cross over. And if I was to get even more detail, there were a million little branches on this. But since I am planning to put leaves on this, I decided not to go full tilt because I would be there for a week. And just have fun, you know? Don't overthink it. Don't think in a shape of the tree. They do have a shape. Yes, they do overall. But if you look at branches, there is a method, but there's also a madness to it. So just have fun, guys. It's so much fun to create art. And I do love this kind of art. And please feel free. Fast forward even more. I've sped this up so much. This was hours of painting that I've brought down to about 25 minutes, I believe. And those are some of the younger trees. And behind. And you just keep going. And that tree far on the left is the one that is closest to me. So I do have to play with the trunks, or the bases of the trunks, I should say. And I will. Sometimes you have to leave these things alone for a few days, live with it, and then you have a different perspective. Because right now, the biggest tree looks like it's behind. So I am going to bring that forward. And I may widen the trunk even more. And here I am now. I was doing there. I am now. No, I'm not. I'm back at doing branches still. Okay. So, I mean, you could just go to town on this, can't you? So I'm still putting on branches because, quite frankly, I can't stop. What can I say? I could paint for hours and it'll feel like minutes. Anyways, here I am putting in highlights. So what I'm doing is starting from the top of the tree, going down. I'm not necessarily always going straight. And that's looks to me like it's the burnt sienna, raw sienna. And then I'll go back over with some black and some of the earth brown, and just create striations all over the place. And as well, you can put on a palette knife, put 3 colors like a burnt sienna, raw sienna, and the earth brown in between, and just put the tiniest bit and just with the palette knife move it across the trunk, and it creates these wonderful lines, almost like when you look at a birch tree, except not that color. But yep, there I am putting in a little bit more, starting from the branch. You can start from the base, move your way up, whichever way works. You just don't want to leave your tree, one solid color. And there I am. The line looked too perfect. And then, use your other tools, your fingers. And I don't bother with gloves. I don't know about everyone else out there, but my nails are always a mess because I don't bother with gloves, but I need to feel it. And even a paper towel will do. And if you want to paint and your paint is still wet, use a blow dryer, guys. That's what I did at early on in this painting because I knew I wanted to keep painting that day. So I used a blow dryer to keep painting. And you want to create those little, at the bottom of a tree, there's the root system. So you want to sort of highlight that area with some highlights and lowlights. We're doing your hair now, guys. And it'll give it that feeling that they're the shape of the roots going into the ground. And see, I'm going back and forth and back and forth with different colors, adding dimension, ensuring that this is not one solid color. Because show me anything that's one solid color. Well, of course there are, but not in nature. Are you back doing branches again? Oh, I make myself laugh. And see, now I'm extending that that walkway because it does go all the way down, but it does go down to where the dock is for the lighthouse. And further up, there's another walkway that has these beautiful old lanterns. And this park was originally the site of a home that burnt down, and a lot of the homes are from the 1800s. So when I say turn of the century, I'm wrong. And the oldest house in that community, I think, is from the 1830s. 1830 to be exact. It's such a great community. Anyways, here I am again. Now, cadmium yellow, phthalo blue. I am making my own green. And there it is. Tap, tap, tap. You're going almost in a rounded, almost like a rounded mountain shape. Tap, 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 tap. Very lightly. Move your brush around. Don't leave it in, and just lightly tap. Don't put the whole fan brush around. I am using a fan brush, and I think in a minute or so I actually take that green and add a little black to it because I want it to be even a little deeper. And tap, 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 following where your branches are, not, in the middle of nowhere. And there I am adding a little black to deepen the green. And see, I'm following the outline, and you will see a lot of the branches and the limbs, as it is with most trees, deciduous trees. And it's starting to take shape. And some leaves go across, and some leaves don't. And with this green, I'm going to make 2 more greens. I'm going to add yellow to one and white to this green. So now I'm going to have 3 greens, a dark green, a medium green, and the highlight green. And I just changed over to a smaller fan brush because I like the way that looked better. And as you can see in the background there, just under my hand, I've made 2 little people, 2 little triangles, a triangle with a stick at the bottom, and a little round circle for their head. In the distance, it gives you the impression. That's all you need. And see, it's already taking shape. And see, you really do not see the sky. But it's not the point. The point is that it's there. You can see white, you can see blue, and it's just lovely. It looks beautiful because of the variation of the background. And here I am starting to put the medium green just above, not on top of, above the dark green, so that you are creating shading. And you don't want to cover all the dark green, because then you don't have shade if you're covering it all. You're doing it in layers. You have your dark green, then right above it you have some of the medium green, and then the lightest green. And I chose to do the light green with the yellow. I made that lighter, and you can play. Depends on how much white and how much yellow you add. And I only really put that in the tops and in the center, because to me, that's where my sun was shining. And see there, I put too much there, and that's okay. You put too much, you just go back with your darker green and go over that area. It's so forgiving. And it gives it dimension. It really does give it dimension, guys. Oh, that's in real time. Oh, that's not in real time. And yes, that's where the highlight is. Sorry, you can see that straight away, can't you? So, once again, I'm going to ask you, hit that notification bell, please. Make a comment. Like this video if you enjoyed this process. subscribe, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, and reach out to me at artistry@gmail. So this is the somewhat finished product. Not product, painting, what am I saying? Anywho, I prefer the ground the way it is now, and that's many layers. And the tree, has some texture to it. Highlights, lowlights, the water. Now, the shading I have to work on. I don't like that shadow. I'll probably paint over it, and I've got a sketch of people walking that I'm going to fill in the next part. And there's some miniature people in the distance, a little bench, and here are the trees. It's a little darker on the side. If you can see, that's where the sun is hitting it. Alrighty, so those are the dried results. Not varnished, of course. And more to come, but for this painting, this part is done. So glad you could join me today. Artistry by Rita. Ciao!